Jake Sullivan thought he'd found another bent propeller or a loose plate, the kind of hazard that makes a diver curse and call for a tow. Instead, his scraper struck cold steel shaped like a torpedo, an unfamiliar tube clamped to the freighter's hull. He surfaced, heart pounding, radioed the harbor master, and watched the waves lap at a secret that someone had bolted to an ordinary working ship. For a man who makes a living in the murk, the object looked too purposeful to be accidental and far too heavy to be ordinary trash. Jake worked maintenance shifts in Miami's busy port, where container traffic and tanker berths make routine hazards a daily concern. He knew ships by their scars and crews by their rhythms. When he reported the cylinder, the harbor master treated it like any other potential explosive. Protocol required isolation, experts, and caution. A recovery team arrived under gray skies, buoyancy bags cradling the device as it broke the surface. Dock workers watched from behind safety tape, and whispers spread. Was it a torpedo, a bomb, or something worse? The mood was taut with fear and fascination. Nobody knew yet which story this metal shell would tell. EOD technicians swept the shell with detectors and declared it inert of explosives, but that answer only deepened the mystery. If not a weapon, what was it? To find out, a specialist cut a seam with a torch. Sparks danced against the afternoon light. Steel surrendered soundlessly, and the cylinder's lid fell away. What spilled into the light looked like bricks wrapped against water, waterproof packages stacked with the calculated neatness of a shipment, not a hasty concealment. Hands recoiled. When customs agents peeled back the waterproof sheathing, the room tightened around a single, undeniable reality: high-purity cocaine, pressed into dense blocks that, once tallied, carried a street value in the tens of millions. The term parasite carrier came quickly afterward in reports, a device designed to hitch a ride unnoticed on legitimate cargo and let contraband pass through busy ports under the cover of normal commerce. The captain and crew were stunned. Their logs and manifests showed no hint that their vessel had been used as a mule. What followed was a careful, meticulous unraveling. Forensics photographed, cataloged, and sealed evidence. Customs interviewed crew. Intelligence teams traced purchase patterns and shipping anomalies. Serial numbers on clamps, patterning on the packaging, and port call histories helped investigators stitch together a smuggling method that exploited gaps in oversight. Names surfaced: handlers, brokers, and receiving points. And a larger network came into focus, one that coordinated placements, exploited busy docks, and relied on the assumption that routine would hide crime. The human angle was stark. Sailors who'd spent weeks at sea discovered their vessel's name in headlines. Dock workers who unloaded containers felt violated. For Jake, the diver, who had touched the hull when others passed by, the discovery altered his sense of scale. A small scrape had pulled a global crime into a local pier. Federal prosecutors built a case centered on custody chains and coordination. International partners shared intelligence, arrests followed in waves. Yet not every link snapped closed immediately. Cartel networks are elastic, and the legal fight to pin responsibility on individuals and companies would stretch over years. The seized drugs were destroyed under strict evidence protocols, and vessels underwent more rigorous inspection regimes. Port authorities updated screening procedures, mandatory manifest cross-checks increased, and training emphasized anomaly reporting for even the smallest irregularity. Some people called for technology fixes. Others pushed for better worker protections and whistleblower channels so those on the docks could report without fear. The captain and crew were cleared of wrongdoing after investigators found no evidence of their complicity, but the stain of having carried contraband lingered in the community's gossip and the crew's shaken quiet. For Jake, the event followed him home. He found his name in news reports and in a thank you note from Customs. He also fielded awkward questions at the marina. He kept diving, but with a keener eye. A professional vigilance turned personal. The pier returned to its rhythm of cranes and forklifts, yet the memory of a torch cutting steel and officers stepping back in stunned silence stayed with everyone who watched. In the end, the discovery did more than remove illicit cargo. It exposed vulnerabilities and forced systems to adapt. It reminded the port that smuggling doesn't always shout. Sometimes it tucks itself into a shadow and waits for a chance. And it reminded a diver who knows metal by feel that even the most ordinary scrape can change the course of lives far beyond the waterline. Music swells and then fades, and then... Light the lantern. Join the journey. Subscribe.